welcome to this second lesson on Internet technologies. I'm Suraj here. I'm going to guide you for the second part of this lesson. So these are the learning outcomes of this lesson. You need to explain the use of HTML to design web pages, differentiate between HTML structure and presentation, explain why we use cookies in web design, and then we're going to look at one protocol known as HTTP and another version of HTTP, which is HTTPS. Let's come to HTML. HTML is normally a language used to define web pages or to let's say define the structure of web pages or websites that you're designing. But web pages itself, they are created using three components. One is HTML, second is CSS, then we have JavaScript. HTML as such provide the content and structure of each page. Content and structure here, it means that we're going to set the layout of the whole page. Maybe you will have your menu bar completely at the top and maybe images at the bottom, and then you will have a background picture that completely flows around the web page. So HTML provides the content and structure of such page. Now CSS, which stands for Cascaded Style Sheet, it's a presentation language used to style the HTML content. Here CSS, it provides the presentation to that HTML structure being created. By styling here, I mean decoration and so on. JavaScript is a scripting language, the third component. It's a scripting language that is used to provide additional functionality and interactivity and behaviors. Maybe you have come across pop-up notification appearing on a given website, or maybe a notification to allow you use your microphone on a given web page. All of these, they're done using JavaScript. So there is a special relationship between HTML and CSS. HTML cannot exist without CSS. Obviously, you can't have a web page that just defines the different layers and so on, the different structure, where I will place my menu, where I will place my images. But you need CSS to decorate, to style. If you take a look to the following animation, I have visited a web page, computerscience.gcse.guru/theory, and I'm using the Google Chrome browser. So if I right click on that web page and I do view source, you're going to see I have a series of source codes. I have HTML codes. HTML codes have been written by a web programmer to ensure that the structure to that web page has been provided. But at the same time, you will see that CSS has been included to take care of the presentation. Now, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It is a markup language used to create web pages. HTML pages are interpreted by a web browser. Like we are seeing, I have the codes save, and then they are interpreted by a web browser. HTML tags are added to each element of content in order to provide meaning and context. Further, HTML tags can be used to divide a web page into logical section or division, making different layouts possible when combined with CSS. So here you will see that the tags in a page, so can divide a web page into different logical sections. With additional functionalities, you can insert images, table, hyperlinks can also be included using HTML. Now, how do you create a web page? A web page can be created using a simple text editor, which I'm going to demonstrate in coming lessons. I'm using a simple text editor Notepad++ to create my web page. So all HTML page, they contain tags, right? To tell the document that I'm using HTML language, I have to put an opening and closing HTML tag. Let me increase or zoom that text so that you can see. Okay. So in this case, I have an opening HTML tag and a closing HTML tag. Then I have the head tag, which tells me that, okay, all my CSS code, all my JavaScript goes between that head tag. Next, I have my body tag. Whatever appear on my body tag will be appearing on my web page. For example, here I can just write, hello, this is my first web page. Like you have seen right now, I've created a simple web page, and this has been created with HTML only. This is only providing me with structure and no decoration. So I'm going to save this text file, but I have to save it with a .html extension. So I open a folder which I created. I put my first page .html there. You have seen that I've saved it with a .html extension, and then I will just open the web page using my web browser. Okay. So I've chosen Microsoft Edge to open .html pages, but you can choose any web browser that you want. I'm going to choose Google Chrome. Now when the web page is going to open, you're going to see the text appearing that we have written. Okay, you see my first page .html at the top, and you will have your text hello. So you have created a simple web page. Now remember, these are web pages and they must be uploaded on a web server. Now in between the head tag, we can have also what is known as the title tag. Okay, so here I will put the title on my web page. As you can see, only the file name is appearing at the top. So my first web page, I close with this title tag. I save it and then I refresh it. You're going to see at the top now my first page appears. So this is a one simple way of creating a web page using HTML head and body tag. Now there are several other tags that I'd like to introduce. For example, the heading tags, which is an h1 tag. An h1 tag, or a heading 1 tag, is going to increase the font of this text. So h1 is the largest, and then h2, h3 and h4 the size decreases. Now let's take a look to h2 now. Save this and I refresh the page. You're going to see it's a little small. The smallest one is h4 tags. Now you refresh it. You don't need to remember those tags. I'm just demonstrating you how does HTML function using tags and how they provide a structure. Now if you come in your browser and you right click view page source, you're going to see all the codes that you have written for your HTML, like this one. Okay, so I've demonstrated a simple web page where we had heading 1, then paragraphing. Now we have some other HTML element. As you have seen, we have the tag name and then close tag, and the content goes here. Now all of these, they are HTML element content that can be used. For example, element content, my first heading, my first paragraph. So h1 is the start tag and the end tag is h1. Now P is for paragraph tag, just to add a paragraph. Then the BR tag doesn't have a closing tag, it's used to add a blank line. Now you can also add images to your web pages, but I'm not going to demonstrate that. But just remember that the image tags uses image, img as short form, and then the source peak underscore truly.jpg, and then an alt. Now CSS stands for Cascaded Style Sheet. Like I've said, CSS is a presentation language. Its purpose is to provide a web browser with styling instruction for the HTML. CSS can be included directly in the HTML tags in the head section of the HTML or in an entirely separate document. It's a powerful tool enabling very complex and unique designs to be made possible. So CSS, which is Cascaded Style Sheet, must be added to HTML so that it provides a little of styling, maybe in colors, in terms of font. For example, here you have a simple heading which have style is equal to color, blue, and this is a blue heading. We'll try this using code. Okay, let's see how we can use a simple styling to the current web page which I have created. So I can just add style is equal to, and then say color is equal to red with a sign. Okay. Now we can save this simple web page and check if our styling is appearing. You will see that it's going to change to red.